You're watching Macau in Transition. I'm Tian Wei. Today we're focusing on education here in Macau. Not only talking to the university president, but also talking to a group of students from the University of Macau to see what they have to say about their current life here on campus and their aspirations for the future. And I'm so glad sitting here in the library of University of Macau, joined by 3 students on campus. I got to know them just now, Eunice, Jimmy, and Katrina. What a pleasure to have the 3 of you on our show.
Glad to be here.
Good to see you here. Maybe we should let you to introduce yourself a little bit to our audience from all over the world. Let's start with you, Eunice.
Okay. Hello, my name is Eunice, and I'm a senior student majoring in accounting of University of Macau. So I was born in Foshan, Guangdong Province, and when I was 14 years old, I moved to Macau with my family here.
So this is the place for you, for university.
Yes. Sure.
Okay. What about for you, Jimmy?
Okay. Good morning. I am Jimmy. I am a second-year PhD student in history. I was born in Canton, and then my family moved here in 2012. Before coming to UM for my PhD studies, I went to the United States in Rhode Island. I attend Roger Williams University for my bachelor's and master's degree.
And there you are.
Yeah, sure.
What's your major here?
I study Chinese urban history.
Urban history and the pre-Republic time.
Correct.
Okay, fascinating. I'm going to let you to explore your major and what you're researching about, and how is it related to Canton and also Macau here a little bit later. What about for you, Katrina?
Hi, I'm Katrina. I'm a final year student in the University of Macau. My major is biomedical science. Actually, my family immigrated to Macau 10 years ago, but I just start my college life here.
Wow, that's nice. So, you know, Macau is a fascinating place. Beautiful. And also per capita rich, I heard. But what does that mean for you as a student here on university campus? Eunice?
I think because Macau is a rich region, so I think the investment we put in our research about the equipment is very advanced. So it helps us to develop our research center here. Yeah.
Okay, so you enjoy the facilities.
Yeah.
What about professors, senior researchers, people that you can really look up to and discuss your topic?
Well, there are certain people that I can talk to. One of them is being my doctoral advisor. I believe he too spent several years in the U.S. and he started writing books and articles and let people know that this is what China's history looks like. And I think that's one of the reasons that I come here is to study with him. Is also something that I want to do is to follow his steps, to write history, to publish books, and let people know that modern time China is not the way that people think it is.
But you know, you grew up after Macau returned to China. So what was it like to be raised up in a gradually changing place, right? And see how Macau more interacting both with originally Hong Kong, of course, and Europe, but now more with the mainland.
I think 10 years ago in Macau, you used to do different things. But
Yeah.
nowadays, it changed a lot, as you said. So the most interesting things for me is the Greater Bay Area. It's surrounding Macau, and it provides a lot of chance for me as a science student.
Just to explain to people what is the Greater Bay Area, because people from outside might not necessarily know, right? It's like Canton or Guangdong, as they say, and Hong Kong, Macau, all of these places will have quite a significant development hand in hand, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the Greater Bay. You do see opportunity there.
Yeah.
What about for you, Jimmy?
Well, I think one of the things that this is my first time actually living in Macau for a long period.
Really?
So after I returned from the U.S. to Macau, I think that I have seen things that are a lot different. Well, before I actually lived here, I thought Macau is full of casinos and hotels, which I later discovered which that's not really the case. We have a lot of historical districts, and then they coexist with our modern buildings. I think that's one thing that I found very interesting, that how do we also have historic buildings, but at the same time that we are able to develop our economy.
You know, how to be, in a way, interact and communicate freely, with ease, among so many different cultures is something that your generation have to face all the time, because we're seeing a very updated version of globalization right now. Isn't it, Katrina?
I think the most important thing is you know who you are and you need to embrace all the challenge you're facing.
Wow, sounds like very encouraging. But who are you? Tell me, and what are the things you need to really learn, as you just said?
Like the critical thinking. Yeah, so we are sort of like not very good at it, I think, compared to the U.S. students. When I noticed on the U.S. class, but yeah, I think we should just grab every chance to improve our background knowledge and then learn more skills.
So I guess after you leave Canton, things have been changing. Is it easy for you to go back and reconnect?
I find it's actually a bit hard for me because we see different things now.
Tell me more about that.
Most of them get married very soon, like the early stage of 20 or 21. But for us, we receive different kind of educations, and we're thinking maybe we should pursue master degree. So the marriage age might be postponed a little bit.
So the small town life is not necessarily the life you desire anymore, right?
Yes.
It's very interesting to see how the life paths so different from one to another. Huh?
Yes.
I guess that's about life, isn't it? Yes, it is about life, Jimmy, isn't it? That you are coming back and doing your research here in University of Macau. What kind of support does that provide you, particularly when you, in terms of access to the resources on the mainland?
Right.
Not to forget that this is already one country, two systems, right? So does it help you much? What are some of the latest discoveries you have just had?
Well, one of the things that I went to the archives in Canton, and I was able to discover certain materials that, to my knowledge, I think no other person has used, which I believe that's the gold mine for history studies.
Tell me more about your gold mine.
Okay. Well,
if there's no secret in it.
Well, I think one of the things that one of the documents that I discovered is that the very early age, the planning, the actual historical urban development plan, which I believe has way too many details concerning that was made more than 90 years ago. Yes, certain places that, okay, this district, or this row, even this row, like what we're going to do, like how wide is this row, how tall the buildings are, which I think is, to my surprise, is that they are able to do that like 90 years ago.
Particularly under that circumstances, when China was still in the feudal society in a way, and not many updated information about the city urban planning was available at that time. Sounds fascinating, really. But what about for you, Eunice? Competitiveness. How to? Your generation is going to face latest technologies. AI probably will reduce already the number of accountants in the world, which is your major, by the way. 5G increases the communication. Quantum physics makes all the big computer, gigantic computer possible. Not to mention another layer, geopolitics changes. And the circumstances in the Greater Bay Area, as we have seen some latest development, also changes very fast. What does that mean to you? To me, it was already mind-boggling. I wonder to Eunice, what does that mean?
I think lots of people think AI will replace the accountant in the future, but I think it did not, because
Eunice does not believe so.
Yeah, because AI is doing what the people told him to do. So even though it is very efficient, it can make the work quite efficient, but they only run the program. But the program, who design the program, is the people design the program. So we can be the AI leader to command what the AI should do to help our work to make it more effective and more efficient. So I think for us as an accountant, if we do some management accounting work, especially in management level, so AI will not cause us a lot of concern.
Not stealing your job?
Yeah. No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Competitiveness. How?
Well, I think one of the things I make myself competitive is that I have experienced living in the U.S. I learned how the Americans, how the Westerners study Chinese history. And then when I come back here, I was able to interact with Chinese scholars and then learn this is the Chinese way to do history. I think that knowing both ways, I think that can make me very competitive.
Is there a much difference?
Well, I think that from a historical perspective, I think in the American way of doing history is that well, of course, you do history, you need sources. But I think that the American way is that it looks beyond just the sources. It applies to several theories, and then think about like what's the connections between this historic event, and then what their influence, and then how do they change politics, how they change the society.
Right.
Well, I think the Chinese way is more of we analyze the source based on the source itself. But I think both are good. But what if we do both together?
For you, Katrina, competitiveness.
So that's why I try to pursue my master's degree in the UK, because I don't want to learn more about from a different place. They have different kind of knowledge backgrounds. So I think what I can learn from that, and I can bring back to Macau to contribute to the society. Yeah.
I was told that, if someone who work in as a local dealer in a gaming industry, at least one could earn an average of 50,000 to 60,000 Macau mao. That's pretty comfortable life.
Yeah.
But that's not, you told me earlier, the life you want.
Yeah.
You want something different.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you be able to, keep that balance in a way, find the balance between a comfortable life, a local life, a place I know, and my aspirations and my vision about where the world is heading for, and therefore where I want to be. Mm. And also a booming China, Macau included, all together. What does that mean to you when you try to keep this balance? Eunice is having a deep thought right now, I could tell.
Yeah.
So how about for you, Jimmy? You go first.
Well, I've chosen a path to become a researcher or an educator, which I think that if you do that, there's certain things that you have to give up. And like, well, yes, as you said, maybe I can choose a different path and have a better, comfortable life, but that isn't what I want. That isn't what I want to do. I think that my passion about history, I think that triumphs having a comfortable life.
Triumph all the other factors. And for you, Katrina?
For me, actually, as a science student, especially specialized in the biological science, Macau don't have so many job opportunity for me yet, and so I'm thinking maybe I can have a chance to take a look on the Greater Bay Area, because there are not of relevant company industry over there, growing, developing. So I think it's a good way for me to see the different things around us.
It could provide you with a big base in a way,
yes.
right? So you can explore.
Yes.
And what about for you, Eunice?
I think to take a balance. I don't really want such a comfortable life in my young age.
You don't want to?
Yeah, because I think as a young student, we need to compete the life we want. So we just trace the life we want. So I may take an internship in United Kingdom during my master's degree, and then when I come back to Macau, I think I may start up a new business.
Interesting. We see a lot of booming entrepreneur scenes here in Macau. Do you think that will be where your future is?
I hope so.
But it's a lot of challenges. Sometimes people fail too.
Yeah. So I think the attitude should be we need to accept the failure even though we may fail. Yeah.
Very encouraging, fascinating. It's been quite a great conversation. Now we are just a few days before 20th anniversary celebration. I guess from you, anything to share with our audience all over the world? Eunice?
I hope the future of Macau will be better and better. Yeah.
Okay.
And then for me as well.
Of course, of course. And Jimmy?
Well, come to Macau, experience the culture, and learn about the history.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would say to the audience out there.
Be our tour guide then.
Oh, sure. I'm happy to do that.
I would also say the same thing. Come and visit us. You can see the different Macau if you have traveled here before. So, and I'm so happy that Macau is developing so fast. And I hope that it will getting better and better.
This is the younger generation of Macau that we're talking about. A lot of energy, a lot of vitality, and certainly try to compete and challenge themselves. What a pleasure to get to know the three of you here in Macau and on the university particularly. And I know you're going to show me around a bit later.
Sure.
I would love it. Thank you so much,
Thank
Eunice,
you.
Jimmy, and Katrina. Thank you. And let's wave bye to our audience. Bye.